What's going on, guys? Welcome to a very special Bangkok episode of the Hot Pot Boys. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the 5 reasons that I am officially leaving New York City and moving to Bangkok, Thailand, at least for the near future. So let's get into it. I mean, long story short, I was out here on a due diligence trip, like an investigative trip, 2 weeks and some change. And at the end of that period, I basically felt like this was the right move to make. So I signed a 6-month lease here in Bangkok. And basically, I'm renting out my Manhattan spot. Of course, there's some cost of living, purchasing power, sort of arbitrage where it's really gonna like cover everything. So I'm not really, you know what I mean? But basically, it's gonna work out. It's gonna be dope. It's dry season. I wanna explore Southeast Asia. Hit me up, David B. Fung. I wanna do more content. I wanna bring back food and travel commentary. I wanna bring back interviews with really interesting, dynamic people that are adding value to the audience, not trash interviews, you know what I mean? I'll probably get featured on a couple podcasts. I know a lot of people I've been hit up already. Like a lot of people are like asking me to go on their podcast here that are more like, I guess I want to say like Bangkok centric. And I'm also going to be doing solo commentary, one take, stream of consciousness. I love the Hot Pot Boys. We're going to see if we can do some of those episodes too. That's me and Andrew like pinging back and forth. But it's also like my ability to do the stream of consciousness, more like Currency. If you guys follow hip hop music, like the way Currency that makes music versus like Kendrick Lamar makes like very planned out, very sculpted, curated pieces, whereas Currency is more like stream of consciousness. Anyway, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Point number 1, here's the first reason why I am leaving New York City and moving to Bangkok is that Asia is rising. And I just want to cover it all over, see it, like, give my own spin on it and my own take on it, because obviously you could watch like a bunch of other creators that have lived a bunch of different lives and everybody's filtering everything through their own lens. And I've been covering it so much on the Hot Pot Boys, whether through these articles, official articles, reading comments, Reddits, et cetera, different Quora. But it's like to be here and see it for myself, I'm kind of coming up with my own hot takes through my own mind, which is sort of like this mix of like serious and super silly, which I think is like, I don't know if it's more rare, but for somebody that, yeah, maybe. And then, so anyway, let's just take a look at this AI overview. It says Asia is rising as a global economic and political power and is expected to continue to grow in the coming decades due to economic growth, global influence, consumer markets, tech value shift, because obviously Asians are into tech, whether it's the creating the tech or just more so the very fast adoption of like cashless payments and AI identification and robotics. I think we just like don't have a lot of things that a lot of the West like maybe potentially holds the West back from like adopting at least consumer tech for sure. And anyway, here's some factors that can impact Asia's growth include skill shortages, infrastructure expansion, geopolitical tensions. So it's like, anyway, like I said, like as Asia's rising, I'm not saying Asia doesn't have its issues with rising inflation. That's like a good global thing, but also the birth rate crisis and things like that. But I actually think that even if Asia also has its problems, I think you could argue that the West is almost like falling apart faster. So even if the whole world is falling apart, everything is falling apart at different rates too. So that's not how I want Asia's rise to be. Everybody else like falling apart, but you guys let me know. And as far as like Thailand specifically, let's take a look. It says Thailand's economy is expected to grow in 2024 with the finance ministry projecting a growth of 2.7%. And it's due to tourism, private consumption, investment, exports. And then, of course, there are some challenges. And I think the biggest challenge here for Thailand is probably how to distribute this growing economic pie to the lower class or the middle class. And anytime, like, first of all, like as a leader of a country, you're looking at the overall economic pool or the bucket, right? You want to grow that. But then on a more micro trend level, or what we would call like micro slipstream within a larger tide, like you want to look at how is that being broken up, because that's going to more impact individual fragments or like subgroups of the society. So I think that, that's the biggest thing nowadays is like, I don't know if, I think the world was always that way, but maybe in 2024 more than ever before due to late stage capitalism. And even though not all countries are in late stage capitalism, like it's just all affected by like, I always have been saying and stressing on this channel that like life in 2024 is almost like more based on socioeconomic class than it ever was in the past. In the past, it was almost like, oh, this whole society is like essentially going through relatively the same thing. Now it's like a lot of exposure is hyper dependent on your own individual cultural or socioeconomic spacing within a society, even as much as it is what is the macro trend happening to the society. On a more micro level, personal level, I just think there's a lot of really cool stuff that has been being made in a lot of countries from the younger class that is like middle class and up. And that's post COVID because a lot of shops that were old and heritage shut down. Maybe ones that weren't losing their relevancy with the customer base or whatever. So I just see like a lot of new trendy stuff. And I know that not every city around the world is as booming as Bangkok or Ho Chi Minh or Hanoi or et cetera, et cetera. But I do feel like it's a general trend in Asia in general, with obviously with a few countries that are unstable. But like for the most part, it's like Southeast Asia is more stable than it was prior, given that it hits prerequisite check marks, like the cities that do at least. So very, very dope things going on. It's like the right environment. You need the right soil with the right elements and the right sun and the shade and the nighttime and the daytime and the nighttime and the daytime to create the photosynthesis as as a metaphor for like the photosynthesis of culture and society and civilization. Anyway, point number 2, is the West declining? So am I selling the stock relatively high before the stock tanks? I mean, obviously there's a lot of charts showing this and showing that, and there's a lot of debate. I think the biggest debate is I think nobody would ever say that the West is going through its best time right now, but I think the debate is over whether the self-healing system of democracy or its self-healing nature of a new world country can give America the ability to like right itself. And it's also how badly is the ship off course. I think these things are up for debate. And if you watch these hyper geopolitical guys, like I said, I'm not saying I agree with all his takes, and they're probably all done by a crazy think tank anyway, but like Peter Zahan, he's like a geopolitical thinker who's like, oh, America's a little off track right now, but it's not as off track as people think it is. And it has a Wolverine-like ability to heal itself, like Wolverine and X-Men, where he could like heal his own wounds. But my whole thing is like, you still need the right leadership to make the right reads consistently, both on a larger narrative level, and that has to trickle down to a more localized execution level. So, like I said, everybody, I just think that that's the real truth. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. It's not like all doom and gloom, and it's not all sunshine. Obviously, it's somewhere in the middle, but all the devil is in the details. Point number 3, I think that post-election is a great time to leave. There's like a media frenzy happening right now. Everybody's trying to get clicks. I think that most people kind of knew that Trump was going to win, but like, you know what I mean? Like nothing's really happening right now. He's just releasing a lot of viral videos, making sweeping statements, and some people like him and some people don't. Obviously, nothing's really going to happen until January anyway. And then even then, you got to think, what if he implements like new people into positions, they got to kind of entrench and figure out even how much movement is possible. And like I said, man, it's just really like it's great to avoid the fray. Like I did watch that Jake Paul Tyson fight, but even that, when I was just watching it, I was like, dude, this is just such an analogy for like at least boxing being cooked. I don't know if you want to look at boxing being this great American thing that is like representative of any other more like other, is it symbolic of anything, but boxing is washed. Point number 4, it's only for 6 months. So obviously, I'm not moving. I didn't sell everything. I just rented out my spot, but it's like, yeah, I think it's just a cool time to see Southeast Asia. It's during dry season relatively. I know the dry season for every country surrounding is somewhat different due to like proximity to the ocean and different weather patterns that are like holding true. But like, yeah, I think it'll be really dope to go around. I had a lot of people hit me up already from Bali and Ho Chi Minh, and people are like, yo, come through and blah, blah, blah. And I just didn't want to do it until I was, situated in a stable location. Point number 5, Bangkok is just a really great city in general right now. And I know, some people have said I'm in a little bit of an expat bubble right now. I know I'm at the Starbucks and Ekamai at the Power Center or whatever, but it's like, it's an international, this is where Ekamai is where all the, most of the international schools in Bangkok are as well, So, I mean, it's been a super smooth transition though, to be honest. And, I've been to the more local areas and I play basketball. I took a 30-minute scooter ride in the dark. I thought I was going to die. I probably would never do that again, out to like a place that was all like fields and like rivers and ponds and stuff like that. And, I've seen it, but obviously, yeah, my day-to-day is in more like, Tongloor, Ekamai. It's almost like a gigantic Rolling Heights or like Diamond Bar type vibes. And I just like it. But yeah, shout out to, I want to see more, and I'm going to as I get my content team up, and like maybe it's local, maybe it's international, I got to figure that out. So basically, like I said, again, hit me up on Instagram, David B. Fung. Let me know if you want to help me film content, you want to be in content, you want to help me book. As long as you can help me do something, I'm a pretty helpful person, you know, like I always like and trying to see just more good, productive information go out to the world, to my audience, and just very like, I don't even know how else to say it. Like just, it's all about like creation, but of like positive production, good vibes and stuff like that. Even though, you know, obviously sometimes I like say cynical things on this channel and stuff like that. I got a bonus point. I just think like this, like I've been analyzing Asian America as well as stories out of Asia for like 10 years now online, but I never really spent an extended period of time here. And I'm a little bit of time in Hong Kong and stuff like that. But like, I just think I was always spending time in Asian American enclaves across America. You know, obviously you guys seen this Philly, Boston, you know what I mean? Like various Chinatowns. I think I filmed in, what's that called? Richardson, Texas, the Asian suburb outside of Dallas, obviously up and down the West Coast, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just like, it's cool to come back to like really where the macroeconomic, like, I know I use the word macro a lot, but like the really where the driving changes of Asia are. Like any trendy, for example, there's this place called Blue and Brown, which is a hyper modern, like they got like Thai iced tea croissants, you know what, the Thai iced tea spread in Williamsburg. That is actually just an extension of what I'm seeing here in Bangkok. In Bangkok, there's like 50 to 100 of those spots. Williamsburg, New York City is just getting one. And I believe Blue and Brown, I'm gonna pop up that cafe right now. It's only been open for like less than a year too. So like now I get to see the connection, because I didn't know like if people had just come from Bangkok and opened it up and mixed it with the Williamsburg style. Actually, after being in Bangkok, I'm like, nah, I don't know. They probably got the idea from Williamsburg 10 years ago, but they're doing stuff that's even more cutting edge out here than is happening at Blue Bottle, you know, a more American based. And Blue Bottle itself is already Japanese influence. Anyway, guys, listen, to be out here while Asia's rising, couple months, it's pretty dope. That's the reason why. I mean, you know, some people are like, oh, you did it to be a passport, bro. You did it to be blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, like, I can't control what anybody thinks or feels about it. Yeah, so that's my reason. I'm going to be releasing more stream of consciousness videos. Like I said, I mean, it's something I've been wanting to do for a while on this channel, but I need that, you know, when you're in a more like show style atmosphere, there's a lot more pro and pre-production and things and planning that go into things because you want to portray a certain thing. But I almost feel like right now is as good a time as ever to just let them fly, you know? So hopefully you guys like them. Like I said, I pretty much do these in one take. That was what's going to allow me to do multiple a day, but I got to feel it. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to Tiger Club Elite. It's a newsletter. It's a program that I'm building out here with other people, but I'm also building it back in the States too. And it's like, you know, for Asian guys and empowerment and things like that. So anyway, let me know some other questions or things you would want to see, things you want me to address. Like I said, I can't say yes to everything, but I'd like to hear everything. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.